Welcome back to 9060 HFL. Glad you guys are all tuning in, and gals. I know it's been a bit since I've recorded anything in length or a long video. I just didn't want to record anything that's just bogus or boring, and honestly I had nothing to record over the course of the winter. But I got a whole bunch of parts in, and I'm really excited to show everyone about this. So I know a lot of my friends and all that have been asking me what cubic inch it's going to be. Well, when I did this last year, when I blew up my 606, said it was going to be a 632. I could not make a 632, and I'll show you the reason why. It is a 598 cubic inch big block Chevy with a buttload of nitrous oxide in it this year. So that's what I'm running. So let's start this whole thing off. The block. It's a Merlin block. I bought everything from Dave from USA Performance Parts out of the States. This is a 10200 deck height with billet main caps, obviously, as you guys can see. Right here with the billet main caps. The nice thing about this block is this little option right here. These lifter bores are all 904 bush or 904. So they're all cast iron, so I don't have to bush them. So that's one of the bonuses about this block that I really liked, that I didn't have to bush them. There's one other thing about this engine block, which is a little bit different from what I'm not used to. It's got a 55 millimeter cam tunnel. So with the 55 millimeter cam tunnel, biggest stroke I can put in this block is a 4.5 inch stroke. This is what Dave from USA Performance Parts was telling me, and a couple other people were telling me that as well. So 4.5 inch stroke, 4600 bore makes it a 598. Actually, the exact bore size is 4.605, but it's classified as a 598. So that's why I couldn't go to a 632, because of the cam tunnel was 55 millimeter, and Dave says I probably maybe could have done it if I would have spent like $2,000 in grinding and all that. But honestly, for the price of everything nowadays, I just didn't see the point of that, because it's on nitrous oxide. So nitrous oxide will make up for anything. And honestly, I'm not doing motor this year. When I go street cruising, I'll run it on motor. But when I'm at the racetrack, it'll all be nitrous oxide. And for those who's wondering how big of a shot, it's going to be a 300 to a 350 shot on a nitrous progressive controller. So that's what I'll be running. So anyway, here's a World Block 10200 904 cast iron lifter bores, and I don't have to bush them, which saves me $3,000 every 2 years, which I'm so happy about. So anyways, I'll move on to the crankshaft since I'm here, so I don't have to walk that far. It's a 4.5 inch stroke. It's a K1 crank. Heard some great things, heard some bad things, but honestly, it's a steel crankshaft. So I'm not planning to throw like a 500 or 800 shot of nitrous oxide with this thing. It'll be a 300 shot, so it should be like around like 1400 horsepower on motor, so it should be just fine, honestly. Okay, now what I got for the rods is the Molnar rods. But, a little side note about the K1 crank. K1 crank was originally designed by Molnar. So, he makes, I really like Molnar. I did a lot of research on him. And he makes some really good rods and crankshafts. So, these are a 6-700 rod. Sorry guys, the camera didn't focus it on. Oh shit, there's that one. Definitely better show you here. There we go. So 6.7 inch rods with ARP 2000 rod bolts. There we go. ARP 2000 rod bolts in them. So yeah, it'll be just perfect for my application. You can see 6-700. Yeah, right there. So, going over here, obviously I got Total Seal piston rings. Well, it's kind of like Total Seal, but not really. I'm running a conventional piston ring, and I'll show you guys that. It's not the same piston rings I ran in my 606 last year, so it's a little bit different. And ALC main bearings. I'm getting another set because these are too tight, so I gotta sit my butt down. Anyways, here's the difference between a 50 millimeter cam and a 55 millimeter cam. I was in shock when I first saw this. So if you look here, you see the difference between, here's a 50 mil, here's a 55 mil. So it's quite the big difference between a 50 mil and a 55. And what's really shocking I found is, look at how wide the lobe is. Like, the lobe of this cam is insane compared to a 50 millimeter lobe. Like, that's just crazy. Which, did some reading on it, and it said that it's easier on the actual ramp rates for valve train issues and stuff. It's a lot easier when it comes to the valve opening and closing, and it's not as aggressive. So, and obviously my spring pressure is a little bit lower this year. The lift of the cam is minus lash. It's 800 on the intake and 775 on the exhaust, I do believe. That's minus lash, of course. Without lash, it's 795 exhaust and 821 intake. So, but I'll post that up here, the cam cards you guys can see. So we'll go look at the slugs next, the pistons. They're on top of my Pinto scooter that I cruise around on. Yes, it's the slowest thing I own, believe it or not. So, here's the pistons. They are made by Wiseco. It's a 4600 piston. Dave from USA Performance Parts, he got me wrist pins. They are 220 thou thick wrist pins because I told him I was going to be hitting it with nitrous oxide this year. Because I'm not running on motor. I absolutely refuse to do that now. I figure it's going to go boom, and might as well go boom in a big way, right? I'm only kidding when I say that. I don't want it to do that. But these are the Wiseco pistons. These are just the off-the-shelf ones, right? Because if I would have got the custom, I would have waited months and months for pistons, and I just didn't want to do that. Waited long enough for everything, but the coated skirts, compression height 1.215. So, yeah, the gas port is on top, which is a little bit different from what I'm used to. Gas porting, I mean by, guys, is these little holes here. On my other pistons, the gas porting was done right in the side of the ringland right here. So that's the only difference, but it's a forged piston, which is totally cool with me. So it doesn't have to be all custom one-off stuff that I had before, because honestly, when it breaks, it doesn't make a difference if it's one-off or if it's off the shelf. It's going to go, and it's going to cost you money. So yeah, so that's why with this engine build, it's a little bit different. I decided to go off the shelf stuff. Well, actually, it was with the help of Dave with USA Performance Parts. I'm not trying to promote his business or anything, guys. I'm just letting you know who I bought it from and who I talked to when I was coming for all this stuff, when I was coming for building this engine. So I wanted it to last, and I didn't want to build it for like 3,000 horsepower like I did before with my Cali's Magnum crank and everything else and diamond pistons and all that. I just didn't see the point. It's just, I make a certain amount of power. That's what it's going to make on nitrous oxide. So I don't need something that can take 3,500 horsepower or 3,000 horsepower. I just flat out don't. I'm not going there ever. So it's in my street car, my 68 Chevelle. Anyways, oh, forgot to tell you. So changed the gear ratio inside my diff. I took out my center section. If you can see it here. 1 second. Yeah, right here. I took the center section out and I changed the gear ratio from 456 to 420. So a 4.29 gear ratio. Yeah, 1 second, I gotta stand up. Kind of glad I did though, because if I wouldn't have done or checked my gears, I would have had a major problem. Apparently, when I bought this car like 14 years ago, something like that, it had a certain set of gears, 4, 5, 6. I never ever changed them. I always checked the oil. They seemed okay. Wait, where's that stupid... Oh, crap, I can't find it. I'll post a picture anyway. But I'm kind of glad I took it apart because my gears were pretty much done. They were a Pro Gear. I had to put another Pro Gear in the car because I have a 35 spline yoke. I think it's a 35 spline. So I had to go back with that again. And 28 spline yoke. is a regular gear, 35 spine is a pro gear. So I went back with a pro gear. So, what else? Oh yeah, got Jessel stuff. So I decided to stay with the Jessel belt drive because I didn't want a lot of hassles with a lot of this stuff. So this cover was still good. So I ordered another one of these guys because I had to get another one because this one was foobarred. As you can see, it's pretty broken. It twisted, it broke the steel. This is the old one it broke. And I got a new wheel. So I got a new one of these guys. So I thought about buying a new Jessel belt complete, but I'm like, no, I can just order these in parts. So ordered just this because this piece here was still good. So just ordered this and ordered this guy right here. And yeah, I can fix. And also I got shims off Amazon. Believe it or not, these were like 12 bucks off Amazon. I couldn't believe it. I was flipped out. Anyway, so that's the Jessel stuff. Oh, I'm not running the Titan pump this year. It's cost-wise. Like, the cost is crazy of everything nowadays. So, I'm just going to run a conventional Melling big block Chevy high volume oil pump. And everyone's seen a big block Chevy oil pump. Just standard oil pump, right? So I'm going to run one of those. Here's a nitrous bottle. And the pickup tube. Oh, I also changed my actual metering blocks and my carburetors as well. I got brand new metering blocks and a couple new pieces for my carbs. What else? Oh, my lifters right here. I sent all my lifters back down to Isky. They repaired, well, they went through all of them and they had to replace 2 of them because I had to pull them with a pry bar to get 2 of the lifters out of the block that were foobarred. So, the push rods. I'm using the same push rods. I got to shim up my rock arms a little bit. I actually measured, so I checked on my push rods. Believe it or not, they're all straight. Oh, sorry, not all. One was a little slightly bent, but I had 3 spares, brand new spares. So, gonna use those. Distributor still the same. What else? I think that's everything. Crankshaft rods, pistons, main bearings. Oh, piston rings. Oh, oil pan. Forgot about the oil pan. A friend of mine, Jake, he welded my oil pan for me. If you guys know from I showed the video last year, they had a big honking hole in the side of this thing. One hole here, and then another one on this side. On this side here, this was completely gone. So a really good friend of mine, Jake, he welded this up for me. He did a really good job. So I don't have to buy a new oil pan, and all my fittings I can still use because I got the fittings welded and stuff. But yeah, and I'm honestly, you can't see the oil pan. I'm going to paint it black because the motor is going to be red and black anyways, and you're not going to be able to see the oil pan anyways when it's in the car. So I'm ecstatic that I don't have to buy a new $1,000 oil pan and spend $500 or $600 of welding stuff to it. So, but, so I think that's everything for right now. I pretty much measured everything on the motor. I'm just waiting for new main bearings to come in. As you can see here, these ones were a little bit too tight. I only had 2 thou main bearing clearance on a big block Chevy on nitrous. That's not enough. I need a minimum of 3. So I got a new set of main bearings coming tomorrow. Oh yeah. So they'll be here. So I got to go pick them up from a shop here in Edmonton. So anyways, here's the oil support ring. Wait, where's this guy? So I'll show you the difference. Sorry, I don't mean to shake around so much because I'm trying to hold the camera and this at the same time. So is this top ring? Yeah, top groove ring. Top groove. Okay. So remember from last year, on my total seal rings, I had two top rings because it was the total seal ring, and they're like $800. And I told Dave I'm on a budget this year, so That's why we went to a single top ring and a single second ring. Just a conventional style ring. I have a vac pump on the motor, so I'll be using that this year. So honestly, I'm okay with that. And honestly, it's going to work really well. So anyway, that's all my new junk. So, yeah, I think I covered everything. Anyway, I'll be putting it together hopefully in the next week or so, week and a half. Still got a couple things to do. I gotta get a friend over to help me lift the crankshaft because I can't quite still walk that well yet, but I'm getting there. So he's gonna help me lift the crank so I can do some measuring on that and help me put the crank in the motor and start building it. A friend of mine, Tim from Head Dynamics, he has my cylinder heads. I bought all brand new valves. I got stainless steel exhaust this time and titanium intake with new titanium retainers as well. I didn't go back to the same valves I had before because those are just ludicrously expensive. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So, yeah, so I'm just waiting for Tim to finish up my cylinder heads. A little bit of damage done to them. He's got a little bit of welding to do onto them, but honestly, they'll be working just fine. My intake is out at a friend of mine's place because we had to test the intake manifold. So make sure the intake was all good, like for the nitro system. So I was all happy, so gotta go pick it up. But anyway, that's it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Any questions, just leave them down there and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks guys, take care.